What's up, bros? Today I will be showing you my Sergei Bobrovsky rookie season card collection. The reason I actually decided to collect Bobrovsky during 2010, which was his rookie year, was that I moved to New York City that year and I was looking for a somewhat promising a Russian rook to collect because I'm Russian myself, and Bobrovsky was geographically the closest candidate down south in Philadelphia. Of course, the cornerstone of any rook collection is the Young Guns Rainbow. So here is the regular Young Guns card. Then here is the exclusives and parallel numbered to 100. I should say that I deeply hate these graded cards because I like to touch cards with my fatty fingers. But in this case I got the graded card because my high gloss exclusive was also numbered to 10 out of 10, and I thought it would be cool to have the exclusives number 200 also numbered 10 out of 100. So 10 out of 100 and 10 out of 10. What was a bit strange about that year that high gloss cards were also called exclusives, and the only difference between it and the card number to 100 was in addition to the silver versus gold foil was the numbering. So what was really interesting that year, that is 2010-11 year, was that to my understanding that was the last year when there were also French Young Guns issued. So this were in special Upper Deck Series 1 boxes which were distributed only in Quebec, I think. So all text is in French, and even it's not Young Guns, it's Jeunes Lanceurs. Right? As you can hear, I'm not very strong in French. And this card also had a parallel numbered to 25. So it was in red and had this funny maple leaves logos embroidered in it. I'm not sure if Maple Leafs paid to put this logo on the card, because it would be really strange to put like this maple leaf logo for the card which you sell in Quebec, which is Habs territory. But I guess that's just the general symbol of Canada in this case. Another rainbow, which a Rocky Rainbow, which I completed was the Victory Rainbow. So the regular card, you can see that it's really badly off center, or left compared to right. So pretty terrible. But it's a very cheap card, so it's more expensive to pay for the shipping than get a card. Then the gold parallel and the rarest black parallel. So back then Victory was an independent product, and it was by far the lowest end product back then. Right now Upper Deck is putting Victory inserts into some of its show promo sets and such, but this set doesn't exist anymore. Yet another rainbow I have completed was OPeeChee Rocky Rainbow. So it's a regular OPeeChee with the traditional ugly gray back. What was interesting is that back then Upper Deck bothered to put the text on the back of the cards in both English and French. So right now they just puts, I think, stats, and that's it. Then retro parallel, then retro glossy parallel, not numbered, and a retro glossy black parallel. I think those were numbered to 100. Yeah, like 3 out of 100, and then blank back retro parallel. I'm not sure what this one numbered for, but I had to get this again graded card, although I deeply hate them because I actually had troubles finding any other copies of that card. The next rainbow, which I almost completed, but not exactly, is the Black Diamonds rainbow. So here is the regular Black Diamond base Rocky card. So that year Bobrovsky was a 4 quad diamond Rocky, so it's the top Rocky, which is kind of interesting because he wasn't even drafted, but he had such a strong beginning of the season that he was put into this elite set of rooks. Then Robbie parallel numbered to 100 right here, and gold parallel numbered to 10. There is also black parallel numbered to 1 on eBay, but the seller wants more than $1,000, so no, I'm not gonna buy that. And next, not really the rainbow, but kind of 2 key cards also for in most hockey player collections. So Future Watch Auto number to $9.99, and one of my most favorite cards in the whole Bobrovsky collection is this Future Watch patch number 200. So 3-color Future Watch patch, pretty rare. And the reason I like this card so much is that you can see actually the face of the whole face of Bobrovsky, his double chin. For goalies, on most cards, the face is just under the helmet, so you can't see their face, but here it's a really cool looking card with the actual photo shot. I actually bought this card from Gomas on the Hobby Insider, but I didn't buy it on the Hobby Insider. I actually bought it from his booth at the November 2013 Toronto Sports Card Expo. I remember he wanted 80 Canadian dollars for that. I offered him 75 and he accepted, so it was a very pleasant transaction. It is of course hard to believe during today's monopoly days, but back then there was the second company which had a license to produce NHL cards, and that was Panini, which right now produces NBA and NHL cards. And the most basic Panini set, which was competing with Upper Deck Victory, was Score, and so Bobrovsky was actually in the Score update sets, so this Rockies and traded sets. So there was a regular Rockies card, and then the gold parallel. So the only difference was the color of the borders. Then I think there was a goalie set which was actually boxed set. So each set came with the full set of goalies, and then there was something like 5 parallel cards per box it said, which had this close-up photo. I think none of these was numbered. I think the price of the set was $20 or so. So then there was this Zenith product, which you can still see at some sales. There was so much produced of it, but nobody was breaking. So the regular Zenith Rocky, and then the patch Rocky. So this is not a patch Rocky per se. It was just a jersey card. It took me actually a long time to find the one with the patch. So probably back then there was no prism. Panini came up with this prism idea in 2012, and in hockey I think it debuted in 2013. But the best, probably the best Panini Rockies back then were considered this contenders, so playoff ticket and season ticket. They were considered the key Rockies because contenders existed even before Panini bought the Legend. And there was, in addition to this contenders out, there was contenders base Rainbow, so regular card, then purple version. So the difference between those cards was that the logo was embroidered in a different color. So the purple version was number 200. Then the green version was numbered to 50. There was probably also a gold version. I don't have it because they were like very, very lightly broken. No, I think this is the base. Yeah, this is the base. But what was this version? What is the difference between those cards? Can't tell right now what is the difference at all. Like oh yeah, the difference is that here there's Expo 11. So like IDG and Upper Deck, Panini used to make the special cards for the Expo. So this was made for the Expo. People were telling me that Panini representative told them that the print run of this Expo card is only 5 copies, but I'm not sure about it. So there were also, in general, I felt that Panini designs select somewhat Upper Deck designs, and they were, and also Panini products was not broken nearly as heavily as Upper Deck products, so there was difficult to find some of these cards, even if the print run wasn't very low. So but Panini also had an interesting idea. So for instance, this Crown Royale die cut crown card is pretty cool looking, but overall, yeah, I felt like Panini was somewhat lacking behind Upper Deck. What makes Bobrovsky special in terms of his rookie cards is that unlike most players, he used to have game-used jerseys and patches. And we should thank Brian Price and In the Game for that. Because apparently what they did in the beginning of the season, they bought his Philadelphia Flyer game-used jersey, and they used it in 2 sets. So the first set was Heroes and Prospects set, where Bobrovsky was featured in his Team Russia uniform. Of course, IDG didn't have any license to use this Team Russia uniform, but because IDG was such a small company, nobody cared. But in general, they these cards with Flyers orange jersey and in Russian uniform, which doesn't have any orange color, look like really weird to me, but can't complain because other producers like Upper Deck and Panini, they were using photoshoot jerseys, so not having game used. And because Dr. Price wasn't investing heavily into the designs, and the Panini didn't end up, ITG didn't have rights to use many players, so what they did, they just used the same design in all subsets, and they just use different names for the subsets. For instance, here we have a game used jersey and game used number. These are two different subsets, so ITG had the license to use photos of probably something like 30 or 40, maybe 50, like players max. And they bought jerseys of these players, and they were circulating all the same designs to make several subsets. So this number and jersey are different subsets. So for instance, I think this black number, they were numbered to 10, then there was silver numbered to 6, and then gold numbered. No, black number was to 6, silver number was to 3, and gold number was to 1. And with jerseys, I think it was a black to 100, then silver to 30, and gold to 10, something like that. They do like it was such a low budget company, they could even print the number at the back. And the second set of ITG where Bobrovsky had game used jerseys was Between the Pipes. Also very similar sets, so there's a game, again the designs were very similar across the cards, so there was game used number, game used jersey, game used emblem, all different cards. And so I think for numbers, patches, and emblems, the numbering was black was numbered to 6, silver numbered to 3, and gold numbered to 1. While for jerseys, like for instance this emblem and outer gold, I think that's 101. And you can't really see it, but that's actually a sticker outer. So an advantage of these ITG cards was that while autos were on stickers, they were not as clear stickers as in case of Panini and Upper Deck, so I really like them. So I think this is like 101. Then this emblem and autograph black, I think that's numbered to 6. Silver would be to 3, and gold would be to 1. So again, like a sticker outer, but you can't really see it. That's game used emblem black, so you can see the design is like identical to a game used number silver. So it wasn't very exciting to break these boxes of ITG between the pipes, because the designs were so similar. Here you can see that it's a sticker outer because the outer was like cut short. This number and outer gold, I think this was also this is also 101. It doesn't say anything, but my understanding is it's 101. You could find this old checklist from the old ITG website, but when they sold it to Leaf, discontinued putting this checklist on their website. So it's just my memory. So they are pretty appealing cards visually. Back then, ITG wasn't doing what they used to do in the later years. They were not putting photos of the players at all, which I would find like very, very ugly. So this is like a pretty nice design. Although you can't see the logos. It's pretty similar to many Upper Deck like cards or many Panini cards. So it's pretty visually appealing. Of course, in the late years of IDG under Dr. Price, and then like when Leaf purchased this IDG from Dr. Price, they started doing this super ugly cards where there is no even like a photo of the player. And that was a point when I lost the interest in the whole IDG collecting. Of course, another important point was when they issued like these vault cards, and so rare cards which people were hunting like for years. They just put a stamp and reissued them. So that was another breaking point after which I essentially lost interest in the IDG. So these are jerseys. So these emblems and numbers, they were low numbered. I think for the jerseys it was jersey blacks were numbered to 100, silvers to 30, and golds to 10. So, but of course, the key rainbow in the between the pipes was this Masked Man rainbow. So the first card was the emerald card, and it says on the back that it was numbered to 101, but I think it wasn't numbered at all. In that year, it was just the base Masked Man card. Then there was a silver parallel. It also doesn't say the numbering, but I think this one numbered to 100. And then the gold parallels, which again it doesn't say the numbering, although it wouldn't be like too difficult to put the number on back, but those were numbered to 10, I think. But I really dig this whole Masked Man set, because you could see his mask so closely, so like Bob's here, and it says Masked Man 3 because I think that was the third year when they made that Masked Man set. The type of cards which I find very fascinating is the cards where Bobrovsky is with other players, and a very cool insert said by IDG was this in the crease set in between the pipes, where they had 4 goalies within the same organization. So here we have Bobrovsky and Brian Boucher, who was considered the starter for Flyers in the beginning of 10-11 season, but during the season Bobrovsky took the starter's position, and then Boucher was kicked out after the season. Michael Layden, actually a very interesting player, because just the year before Bobrovsky joined in 09-10 season, Flyers were playing in the Stanley Cup Finals against Blackhawks, and Michael Layden was playing in the Stanley Cup Finals, but then he didn't manage to make even the Major League roster on the opening day next season, so it was like pretty crazy. And then Johan Backlund, Swedish goalie, but I don't think he was ever considered to be a serious goalkeeper by the Flyers. And here is the Ready, Willing, and Able silver version. I think they were numbered to 30. There's also a black version numbered to 80 and a gold version numbered to 10, which I unfortunately still don't have, and that's a really interesting card because first it's a game used, which as I mentioned is rare for the rookie, and then this starting goalie and backup, so for the 10-11 Flyers season. So a card from the Cup. What I find really terrible is that Upper Deck puts these one-color jerseys numbered to 25 into the Cup, which even back then was costing something like $325 per team. So there is also a patch version numbered to 5, which I unfortunately don't have. A couple of historical cards right now. So this is IDG Heroes and Prospects card of Pelle Lindbergh, a great Swedish goalie who unfortunately died very young in the car accident. Then Bobrovsky again looks ugly there. There is a jersey from Flyers, and he's in the Russian national team. A uniform and a Bernie Parent. Again, you can see that the IDG is like a little bit of IDG here. So Parent and Lindbergh have, I think, there's goalie pads, while Bobrovsky has a jersey and hand numbering by Brian Price, like the sign of the low budget of IDG. And another card which is a very, very cool card, and something which they don't do anymore, that's a hard signed triple auto of Bernie Parent, Ron Hextall, and Sergei Bobrovsky. So two Flyers legends, and Bobrovsky, who was supposed to be a legend, numbered to 25, and I think there's also a version numbered 101, and it has been pulled. And unfortunately, I don't have that card, but I'm very, very interested in that card. Probably that's the one card which I would like to have the most. That's it just shows how much better the industry used to trade like collectors. Right now, I don't think there are any triple autos in any of hockey products right now. Which would be like hard autos. If there is a triple auto right now, they're all stickers. Like this beautiful hard autos. Imagine all of these three players hold this auto in their hands. Like that's like super beautiful. Then a couple of the national team cards. So here these are countryman subsets from by the IDG from the Between the Pipes set. So there are two versions. The gold version, you can see, so this frame here is gold, and the silver version. So I think the silver is numbered to 50, gold is numbered to 10. I wonder if they have numbering. Yeah, like gold version. It's not 1 of 10. There are 10 cards, but each is numbered out of 10. So it's not it would be numbered 1 of 10. So it's Tretiak, who was a Soviet legend, is currently the president of the Russian Hockey Federation. Semyon Varlamov, who is a very athletic goalie, but suffers from a lot of injuries. Also is famous for raping his wife. Now with Islanders. Then Ilya Brizgalov. Actually, it's very interesting that during his sophomore season, Bobrovsky played in Philadelphia as a backup for Brizgalov. So after 10-11 season, Boucher was kicked out from Philadelphia, and Philadelphia signed Brizgalov for a huge contract. Actually, he was bought out, but Philadelphia is right now in 2020 still paying him salary. And I remember the game, the New Jersey Devils season opener in 2011. They were actually playing against the Flyers and lost 3-0. I was at that game, and back then Devils were considered contenders. They had Kovalchuk, Parise, like Brodeur was playing as a goalie. And I remember I had to pay $80 in 2011 for the season openers to sit in the upper corner. Like for comparison, in 2019 I paid $70 to sit in the lower corners. So as you can see, like the deterioration of the Devils. But what was really interesting about that game is that after the game I went to the back of the Prudential Center, and back at that time there was the players were walking from the Prudential Center to the bus, and you could ask them for their autographs after the game. And I asked Bobrovsky for their autograph. That's the only time I met him closely in person. So he signed me this Nakleyka sticker where he is featured in the uniform of his Russian team Metallurg Novokuznetsk. So that was a very memorable point of time. Here is another cool card of Bobrovsky with Robin Lehner, who was also a Rook goalie that year, numbered 250 from Panini Pinnacle. Unfortunately, both autos are sticker autos, but Robin Lehner actually developed also into a great goalie. I think he's right now with Golden Knights or Blackhawks, don't remember exactly, but last season was his true breakthrough season with Islanders. I'm not sure why Islanders didn't offer him a new contract. They preferred to sign Varlamov for pretty much the same money. But the reason I like Robin Lehner so much is that he's also, like me, a huge vodka enthusiast. So he likes to get drunk and so on. And the final card in this set of cards where Bobrovsky is with some other players is actually a very interesting card. Dual honorable numbers of Bobrovsky with another goalie who also wore number 35 like Bobrovsky. And that's Tony Esposito for Blackhawks. Actually, Tony Esposito's patch is almost 3 colors. You can see a little bit of red here. And what fascinates me in this card is that I personally find that it's very rare for goalies to have a number 35. So usually goalies like number 1, number 30, but 35 is a pretty rare number for the goalie. And another thing which a lot of you can see from the card is that the old farts like Esposito, they used to have a very nice autos, so spelling out the whole name, while this new farts like Bobrovsky, they just scribble something on the card. Another topic is, of course, logo patches on the card. So the Flyers logo is not a particularly patch rich, if you understand what I mean. That is, it's difficult to make very nasty patches out of this Flyers logo. Probably the only logo in the whole NHL where you can make pretty nasty patches like Black Hawks. A logo also, Penguin's logo is pretty cool, like the beak of the penguin might look pretty nice. But these are two cards in my collection which I think have the nastiest pieces of the logo. So here is a limited logos from the cup. So there's like Flyers wheel, and then there's actually the flies itself, or here from the Ultimate collection. I also have a lot of other cards. So here are some unnumbered regular cards. So that year there were also, I think, 20-year anniversary of the Young Guns. So there was this retro designed Young Guns, which Upper Deck then used in some later products, in particular for the Upper Deck's National Hockey Cards Day promotion. So that's some Panini cards, and yeah, it was a bold statement from IDG to call Bobrovsky the star of the game in the middle of his Rook season, but after all, he won 2 Vezina, so that was a pretty good prediction than some numbered cards. So that year, like, Upper Deck was also cheap. They weren't printing the number on card; they were putting it on sticker and sticking it there. So be a player. Rocky, I think those were numbered to 99, but I don't. Oh yeah, here 70 out of 99. Then SP game used Rockies, and this Rocky Breakouts diecast card number 200. Interestingly, it's 0.5 from BGS Black Label. I didn't specifically try to get it. I was just got it as a good deal as a part of the big lot of cards. So in Schreenman's autos, these autos actually haven't changed much, if at all, over the years. Then Ultimate Auto, so SP game used ugly sticker auto, and Zenith actually hard auto. But Panini that year used a very thin pens, which I found a little bit annoying. Number to 199. Then this National Treasures. I think National Treasures wasn't a standalone product. Panini only did one, a National Treasures which was a standalone product in its final year. So I think that was part of the contenders. Auto numbered to 99. It doesn't say which set, but I'm pretty sure it's contenders. Then Heroes and Prospects auto in Team Russia uniform, between the pipe, star of the game uniform. Yes, I have been talking before. You can see that ITG designs are a little bit simpler than Panini and Upper Deck designs. So again, for Panini, the most common way to separate these parallels was just to use different colors. So bronze here, gold here, otherwise completely identical cards. So, and in these Phenoms cards, I think there is no difference at all. No, yeah, there is, like here that's bronze color, here it's silver color. So bronze is numbered to 50, and silver was numbered to what? To only 10. Yeah, so probably gold was 101, but yeah, the Panini was very lightly broken. All these products, and except Upper Deck products, were like very lightly broken. So many of these short printing cards never surfaced. So that's like a Spring Expo 2013. It's also like not exactly his Rookie Year card, but IDG took a Rookie Year card and reissued it like later. So I was thinking a lot, should I take it into my collection, and not decided to take it. But that's I'm actually, there's also a lot of vault cards of Bobrovsky, but I'm not buying them at all, because I'm not interested in this type of the when the card is reissued like later. That's not something which like appeals to me. And yeah, Ultimate's Rocky patch numbered to 35. And now, for those of you who made it that far, I will show the true highlights of my collection. So let's start with the shields. And so the first shield which I'm gonna be showing you is actually a little bit of a fake shield, and this is actually comes as a part of a Cup Autograph Rookie Gear. As you can see, this booklet is number 21 to 25, and so inside this booklet we have the tag, which is partially a shield. So a really cool looking tag. Actually overpaid quite a bit just for that tag, but otherwise the card is pretty boring, because for sure like there must have been better patches, although like I've been telling you, like Philadelphia is probably not the most patch rich logo in the NHL, but there must be like a better patches than this 100% white patch. And another card which is actually more of a shield is this dual Rookie shield of Sergei Bobrovsky and Eric Wellwood. So it's actually, the story of Eric Wellwood is pretty sad, because he was a pretty promising left wing for Flyers. So he had a strong 11-12 season with the Flyers, but he injured badly during his third year, and he had to stop had to quit his career completely. So right now he's actually the head coach for Flint Firebirds in the OHL. So it's like in Flint, Michigan. And yeah, this is the city you might have heard about, like Flint, Michigan. Like that's like the city which doesn't have clean water. So like a true shame for the whole United States. But as you can see, this card is really like brick thick. And what's also interesting about this card is that it comes with the certificate of the authenticity, because so this is the number and this is the certificate of the authenticity, because it's a two-sided shield. They didn't have space to put like this text, congratulations, like, and blah blah blah. It's all authentic and so on and so forth. Yeah, but one of my favorite cards in my whole collection across all the sports. Also, the Ultimate Collection shield was on eBay, but it didn't sell like for that much money. Like, but unfortunately, I missed it. And although if any of you know any hints where it is, I would greatly appreciate. The final The cherry on the cake of my collection is the Cup Rainbow. So you might have seen it on some forums, because I've posted it quite a bit on sports card forum, Hobby Insider, and so on and so forth. And so that year, Sergei Bobrovsky was one of 6 rookies numbered 299. As you might know, like in Cup every year, there are only 6 rookies which are numbered to 99. So others were, I think, Taylor Ho, Jordan Eberle, PK Saban, and Jeff Skinner, and Tyler Seguin. So this is a number parallel. Unfortunately, only 2 color number parallel. The reason is that I have also owned 3 color parallel, but it had like a really terrible chipping at the top edge. I'm usually not very picky with respect to the condition of the card, but that was just terrible, so I let it go and got like this 2 color card, which is in a better condition. Then the GOAT parallel number 225. What's interesting about the GOAT parallel is that also the edges, not the edges, but this inner of the card is a gold compared to white in other cards. I think Upper Deck doesn't do this anymore. Right now, these gold parallels, I think they're autographed, and then they're not. They don't have this gold inner side anymore. And the best card is which finishes this Cup Rainbow is this black parallel numbered 101. It's a little bit difficult to see, but I hope you can appreciate it. This is the most expensive card in my Bobrovsky collection. I think I paid something like $750 for that, something like that. So that's it, guys. And if you know, or you have some Bobrovsky rookie season cards, that is 10-11 season cards, which I don't have, please shoot me a message or write it in the comments. I would be very interested in purchasing these cards for my collection.